3-day backpacking trip that I did in Arizona's Superstition Wilderness in January of 2020. I started out at the Peralta Trailhead, traveling east out to Coffee Flat and Randolph Canyon. Then I headed north into Red Tanks Canyon and traversed the Red Tanks Divide through the Woodbury Fire Burn Scar. Then I looped back west towards LaBarge Canyon and finally made my way back to the trailhead via the Terrapin Trail, and I had some close-up views of Weaver's Needle. I hope you all enjoy. Hey everyone, it is January of 2020 and I'm in the Superstition Wilderness about to do a 3-day backpacking trip. So today I'm going to start on the Dutchman Trail for a couple of miles and then I'm going to head off east onto Coffee Flat, taking Coffee Flat Trail to Red Tanks Canyon, and then I'm going to follow Red Tanks up north into the Brad's Water and Brad's Canyon area where I think I'm going to camp for the night. Today's route is about 12 miles. I have only about 6 hours of daylight to accomplish this hike today. Alright, so let's get going. Okay, so I'm on a little pass on the Dutchman Trail here, and out in front of us is the Coffee Flat area. So for context, we're going out all the way to, you see that little hill right there? Okay, and we're going behind that, so kind of the canyon where like Randolph Canyon and Fraser Canyon is out in that way. So we're going pretty far out there, and then we're going to head up the Red Tanks Trail, which is behind this series of kind of mountains on our left. So we got a ways to go before we get to the Red Tanks Trail. Alright, I am getting to Coffee Flat Trail. It took me about an hour to get here. I'm about 2.8 miles in from the trailhead. And normally I would go up Dutchman's Trail and take the climb up the Miner's Needle, but today we're taking Coffee Flat out yonder into the desert. One of the constant themes of the Superstition Wilderness is you see a lot of these hills where these rocks just kind of jut out at strange angles. Basically, this entire wilderness is made of volcanic rocks. It's a igneous province, I believe. Alright, that hill that we were just looking out at, that's what I'm climbing up now. Okay, we're going to continue along Coffee Flats Trail that way. That was a bit of a climb. Not too bad though. So I have an interesting view of the wilderness area. This is my first time admittedly doing the entire western part of Coffee Flat. I've actually only done the eastern part of Coffee Flat Trail before. And I do believe that Red Tanks Canyon is on the other side of these mountains, so we still have a ways to go before we even get to Red Tanks. We have some truly epic rock formations coming up. Alright, I'm right off the side of Coffee Flat Trail here, and there is water flowing in this little drainage here. And that's actually not too surprising for this time of year, but I was expecting it to be mostly dry until about red tanks, but looks like there's going to be water mostly along the way here. So I believe all this water is running through Randolph Canyon, if I'm not mistaken. And that's kind of the direction we're going in. Well, I am a little bit surprised. I haven't encountered any fire burn yet, but I guess that's coming up pretty soon, I bet. Let's go. Okay, I believe we are going down into that canyon right there. But I'm not sure if we have to go up and around to the left of that rock in the middle, or if we're going down through it. Again, this is my first time out on the western half of Coffee Flat Trail, so it's kind of a little bit of an adventure here. Alright, so I am exiting the wilderness for just a short distance, and so right now I'm just about 6 miles into this trip. I'm a little bit under halfway because I know probably a good half mile of that was me collecting the camera. So I think the end of this day is going to be about 13 miles, so it seems that I'm going to be hiking right up until about dark today. So most of the views you've seen so far have been to kind of my right and the front, which is kind of like east-southeast, but this is the view kind of to my left that I've been seeing for a while now. Yep, I've been holding out on you. This, I believe, is Coffee Flat Mountain, and it forms sort of the west side of Red Tank's Canyon that we're going to go up. So we will be traversing a canyon that's on the other side of these mountains. Alright, I'm lower down in the valley now, and there are some cottonwoods down in this canyon. And here's a windmill that we're about to come across. It's making all sorts of creaking noises. Kind of a little creepy, but kind of cool at the same time. So apparently there's no water over here anymore. I thought I heard water flowing at first, but it turns out it's actually just these cottonwood trees right here, which are just lovely in January. It's not often that you can rest your hand on a saguaro cactus like this. This one's dying and there's no spines left, and it's about the size of a bus. A desert of adventure awaits you, and gates. Looks like there's a stream up ahead, a nice flowing stream. Wow, this lower part of Randolph Canyon reminds me a lot of the gulch in Utah. Actually just right down to the shallow brown muddy water and the cottonwood trees and kind of a wide canyon. The only difference is like no red Navajo sandstone out here. It's all sort of a darker volcanic rock. Okay, I had to backtrack from that. I went about half a mile the wrong direction. I was following a horse trail, I think, so it ended up being the wrong way. I kind of had a sneaky suspicion about it because I didn't remember that you turn south. I remember just going kind of east. So we're back on the right trail now, on the Coffee Flat Trail. I don't know what I was following. Some kind of canyon with flowing water and a lot of post holes from horses. So I think that's just kind of a well-worn equestrian path that I was on. And here are the cliffs that are overlooking the south side of Randolph Canyon. So we are finally seeing some of the fire damage. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but all those hills right there are pretty badly fire burned. These trees are pretty badly charred. Gosh, it's just so interesting how this reminds me so much of the Gulch. It's just so much eerily like it. And there's even some slick rock undercuts over here. I actually just submerged my right leg into quicksand about halfway up my ankle, and it's not pleasant walking and stuff like that. So there looks to be a lot of char on the walls of this canyon. These streams are just such a beautiful sight out here. Okay, I've made it to Red Tanks Trail 107. Heading down the Red Tanks Trail now. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do the whole thing, so I think because it looks like there's flowing water along the entire length of Red Tanks Canyon, I'm just going to kind of find the first good spot that I see. So it looks like somebody lost an article of clothing in Red Tanks Canyon. Looks like a sweater or something. Looks expensive. So to my right, which would be east, the whole side of the hill here is kind of fire burned. And all that is sort of compacted, burned up soil. There's Red Tanks Canyon down there. We're climbing up a bit, and then we're going to go back down again. Whew. I just climbed up a big hill. I'm not near any water anymore, so I might be stuck with just my 2 liters of water that I already had on me. it is what it is. Wouldn't be the first time that happened. Check out this view. So down there is the canyon with the water in it. Red Tanks Canyon is just over this pass here. I'm about to descend. Okay, I have found a place to camp for the first night. It's not my proudest achievement, but it does have a pretty view. So this campsite, if you can call it that, is kind of covered in fire burn. It's not the nicest campsite I've ever stayed at, but it's got a pretty awesome view. My favorite thing ever is untangling guy line in the middle of the night. Alright, well I got my tent set up here, and I got some water before that. I actually had to walk back down the trail about 1/10 of a mile down to the creek to where I could filter at. I got a few liters there. I think I got about 3.5, maybe 4 there, and then I got like 2 in my bag. So have almost 6 liters on me, which means I should be able to just book it out of here tomorrow morning, go over the canyon, and then get water at Brad's Water tomorrow. I'm not specifically sure what my route is going to be tomorrow, because that's kind of in limbo since I didn't get as far today as I thought I would. I did walk about 11 miles today. I think I have at least 3 more miles to get to the area where Brad's Water is at the top of the Red Tanks Trail. I think it might even be 4 miles, I'm not sure. My GPS is kind of a little bit wonky with how it records, so that just is what it is. But anyway, I think it's time for some food. I am starving. All right, our water is boiling. Oh yeah, got your mac and cheese here. Oh, I thought it was gonna fall over. Looks like it's about to. I gotta stir it. Check out this awesome moonrise. This is a shot of the mountains sort of right above my campsite. Alright, I'm in the tent for the night. Today we did about 11 miles. It's a little bit shorter than I had originally planned. So I originally wanted to get through all of the Red Tanks Trail today and camp near the Hooly Bacon Junction so that I would be able to do Hooly Bacon Trail up north, then curve around through the Tortilla Creek area, and then down south into Peters Trail. We still might be able to do that. I'm not really sure. It depends on how early I'm able to get on the trail tomorrow, because that would be probably either a 14 or 15 mile day. So I'm going to think about it. I have an alternative plan in mind that might include, LaBarge Canyon, and maybe the curving around to the Terrapin Trail, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a think. Anyway, that's it for night 1. See you tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's day 2. As you can see, it's already pretty sunny outside. It's crazy how fast it changes in the desert. When I got up this morning, it was close to freezing outside. My shoes were frozen solid, and my socks from yesterday were frozen solid, and now they're almost dry, and it's like 10 a.m. right now. Okay, so yesterday we started out at the Peralta Trailhead and walked a short distance along the Dutchman Trail, about 2.5 miles, until we met up with Coffee Flat Trail 108. And I followed Coffee Flat Trail 108 a ways, kind of towards the east. And I actually ended up accidentally turning south and followed Whitlow Canyon. I didn't know what it was at the time until I pulled out the map later. It was actually really pretty. It reminded me a lot of the Gulch in Utah. So I think in the future I want to actually explore Whitlow Canyon a little bit more. But yeah, once I learned my mistake, I went back and I kept hiking along 108 until I met up with the Red Tanks Trail 107. And that's where we're currently at. So we kind of hiked north, and I am guessing I'm sort of in this area right here camped. And The plan for today now is to finish up the red tanks and go through the red tanks divide, which is kind of up in here, and this is going to have a lot of climbing and a lot of elevation gain to it until we get into the Brad's Canyon, Brad's Water area, right below the Picacho Butte. And then we're going to finish up Red Tanks Trail. I'm going to get out to LaBarge Spring, which is all the way over here. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen after that. I think I'm going to hit the Dutchman Trail 104 and continue along it and just try to kind of hike and camp in this area here. I'm going to finish up this Red Tanks Canyon, so we're going to go up this canyon here behind me, and we're going to kind of finish off. There's kind of a pass that we're going to go up through, and then we're going to go down Upper LaBarge Canyon, and then kind of go through the area where Charlie Boy Spring is and kind of camp near there. And then on day 3, I think I'm going to take the Terrapin Trail back to the car. So yeah, let's get going. So I'm currently walking through a burned up cholla forest. It's pretty surreal. Yeah, I know I just said this before, but this is pretty surreal. I'm just surrounded by all these dead, burned down trees. And this, I'm standing in basically a flash flood zone. But it's pretty dry out here today. Here's, this is just a shot of the sort of eastern side of the upper part of Red Tanks Trail. And it's pretty scenic. That's the way I came back from. But there is a lot of fire damage in this canyon. Do you want to know what's crazy? Is last time I came through here, about a year before this video, right there was a giant boulder kind of covering the top of this entire little slick rock drainage. Watch this. That boulder now is see that there? That's how far it moved from this past summer's flash floods from the fire. So the fire seems to have gone all the way up this mountain up here. Check it out. More and more devastation. Even more fire burned trees just everywhere. This used to be a very green area. Okay, so I finished that climb up Red Tanks Canyon. So I'm starting the Red Tanks Divide portion of the route. So this is kind of a little bit of a ridge line that you follow. But man, that was tough work getting up Red Tanks Canyon. Pretty epic view up here. It's all fire burned as well. But yeah, I have a few more miles to go before I'm down to the middle of barge sort of drainage where I plan to camp for the night. Alright, so that's the view looking back where I came from today in Red Tanks Canyon. And then this is kind of what's called the Red Tanks Divide that we're on. And it's a little bit of a kind of a ridge line. And you can see now that we are going into this canyon. Don't know what this canyon is called down here, but it does link up. I guess it's the beginning of LaBarge Canyon. It's nearby anyway. Alright, down there is LaBarge Canyon. That's where we're going. Alright, here's the turnoff to Brad's Canyon. This is where I would have been going yesterday if I had had time to make it. Worth noting is that if you go back to my video from November 2019, so only like 2.5 months ago, this was completely dry, but there were actually some bear tracks. No bear tracks today. It looks like javelina. Okay, I'm approaching the junction of Bacon Trail and Red Tanks Trail. So last time I came out here was in November of 2019 before this video, and I had speculated at the time that maybe Red Tanks Trail wasn't going to be maintained anymore because it only points one direction now. But there's huge cairns along the route for Red Tanks, even though it is a little bit difficult to follow. There's no reason why anybody shouldn't hike it other than it's just a tough trail. But yeah, I need to hike another couple of miles before I get down to the bottom of Upper LaBarge Canyon, and then I'm going to follow kind of middle LaBarge to, I don't know, probably somewhere close to the junction with Terrapin Trail so that I don't have to hike too long tomorrow. And then I'll make camp probably near dark again. So anyway, let's go. See, I had filmed some of these cactuses before, and some of them are starting to finally fall apart. Okay, I'm officially out of Upper LaBarge Canyon, so now I'm going to be following the Red Tanks Trail to LaBarge Spring and down into the middle LaBarge Canyon from there. I don't know how many miles, but I'm going to keep going until it's almost dark, just to put some miles in. Alright, I am just passing by LaBarge Spring. Looks like there's nobody camping here right now, but I'm gonna keep going. I think I got another couple miles before I'm gonna camp. Got about an hour and a half of light left. So you'll notice that these rocks are pink in color, and that is actually flame retardant from when the fire crews dropped, flame retardant on the Woodbury fire. So the area right near LaBarge Spring kind of represents the western border of where the Woodbury fire was contained at. We are now hitting the Dutchman Trail 104. Left would be back towards the Peralta Trailhead, and right, which is the way we're going, goes down further into the LaBarge drainage. Wow, check out these peach-colored cliffs. Alright, I have finally found a place to camp. It's like the last real campsite along the middle LaBarge drainage before the Cavalry Trail junction, which is kind of up in a high up area and there's no water nearby. So this was sort of the last resort. Never camped at this site before. Okay, I have set up my campsite for night 2. So tomorrow we're going up to just below an area called Black Mesa Pass, which was on one of my previous videos, but we're going to stop short of going over that pass, and we're going to take the Terrapin Trail to complete the loop out of here back to the trailhead. Tomorrow's hike will be about 7 miles, I believe. So anyway, it's been a super long day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's day 3. Having coffee in my tent this morning because it's like really cold out. It's probably around freezing still right now. Alright, so I'm currently camped kind of in this area here along the middle LaBarge drainage along the Dutchman Trail, and this is actually a very popular camping corridor. I actually got one of the last campsites available in here. But yeah, so the plan for today is to continue along the Dutchman Trail right here, and we're going to go south, and instead of taking this Blacktop Mesa Pass, instead we're going to take Trail 239, I think it's the Terrapin Trail, and we're going to take that south. And we're just going to follow that. It's very straightforward until we hit Bluff Springs Trail. And we're just going to take Bluff Springs Trail 235, I believe, back to the trailhead. Alright, I'm walking along the Dutchman Trail, just a few miles until I hit the Terrapin Trail. Alright, I'm at the junction of Dutchman Trail and Bull Pass. Bull Pass takes you into the Needle Canyon area out there and then up a tall pass that you can't even see from here. But we are going to continue along the Dutchman Trail this way, kind of in the direction of Weaver's Needle. And as you can see, Weaver's Needle up ahead. We are actually going kind of up along that left side of it. So I don't know how well it comes across on camera here, but the Terrapin Trail that we will be taking runs along the ridgeline that's below the base of Weaver's Needle. So it's kind of like along this way here. That's kind of the way we're going. I don't know how well that comes across on camera. kind of decided to explore this little swimming hole here. I'm not actually going to go swimming because it's not exactly all that warm out today. If it was warm out, I would consider actually swimming in here. Check out this cool little drainage here. So there is a pretty good view of Bluff Spring Mountain from the Dutchman Trail. You just have to remember to look up to see it. Okay, I'm at the junction with Terrapin Trail, as you can see, and we are going to be taking that up to the south-ish for a few miles. There's the drainage that we just climbed up out of. And we have a pretty awesome view of Malpais Mountain from up here. And here's a view of the sort of north side and the canyon going up Bluff Spring Mountain. And we're not heading up into this canyon, but let's see. I believe the Terrapin Trail is going to go up to the right of this hill, right in front of us. So there's this curious little embankment next to the trail along Needle Canyon on the Terrapin Trail. And it's interesting because it does look like to me that somebody tried to dam this part of Needle Canyon back in the day. You can see it just kind of comes around here and kind of hugs the circumference of this canyon. So I really do think it was like a dam of some sort. I have a pretty good view of the south side of Bluff Spring Mountain. Terrapin Trail has a lot of elevation gain to it, so it's not very fast going up this way. Alright, I am on top of Terrapin Pass. So I have topped out here and I'm right next to Weaver's Needle. And it's a pretty awesome view from here, as you can see. I think I have about 2.5 to 3 more miles on the Terrapin Trail, where we're sort of going to follow this canyon that's ahead here. And then we're going to meet up with Bluff Springs Trail and take that for about 2 miles back to the car from there. So I think I have about 5 more miles to go. So this is the view from Terrapin Pass, looking sort of northeast. And that to the right is Blacktop Mesa. That right there is Black Mesa. And down in that direction is First Water Canyon, Second Water Canyon, Garden Valley, and the First Water Trailhead. And here's a shot of Weaver's Needle. This shot's a little bit overexposed because the sun's in the shot and Weaver's Needle's in shadow, so it's really hard to show you guys just how epic this mountain looks in front of me. I'm doing the best I can though. And everywhere you look, you see these little granite spires popping up. So what's interesting about this rock formation is if you see in the center there seems to be a little cave, but it looks like it's not really a cave. It just looks like a big rock slab just kind of fell on top of it, making it into like a cave or a window type of structure. Alright, I have reached Bluff Saddle. These are the rock formations to the right of the trail. Pretty cool. Okay, I am now descending the other side of Bluff Saddle. Got a short distance to finish up Terrapin Trail, and then I will be on Bluff Springs Trail. Yeah, there are 3 balanced rocks up there. It's uncanny. It's almost like somebody put them there on purpose or something. We have the spires and the area surrounding Peralta Canyon, which is probably one of the most popular hikes in the greater Phoenix area. Okay, I have made it to Bluff Springs Trail 235, so I am going towards the Peralta Trailhead. Okay, so here's a better view of the ridge lines that are in between Bluff Spring Trail and the Peralta Trail. It's pretty cool. Alright, that down there is LaBarge Canyon, and we will be descending into that eventually and following a short ways. And it looks like there's some water flowing down there. Alright, so I have to climb up that hill that's right in front of us. And off to my left, I can see the Miner's Needle, which is just a short distance in from where we started. Well, that was weird. I just had a very odd and brief interaction with some other hiker lady. She was just walking along, and I was finishing up this climb, and she gave me the most despicable look. So I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she looked me right in the eye, and she just gave me this scowl, just like this angry scowl. So it's really weird. I guess you meet all kinds out here. You know, being friendly doesn't always work. But yeah, you do meet some interesting people out here. Not everyone you meet out here is friendly though. Alright, I've reached sort of a high point here, and now you can see Coffee Flat, and that's the area that we were at on day one. So if you see that little hill right in the middle, that's the hill that we climbed up the side of on day one when we were on Coffee Flat Trail. And then the mountains beyond there are kind of the canyons where we went through, like Randolph Canyon and Red Tanks Canyon on day one as well. Alright, I am only just a very short distance from the trailhead, so that about does it for this trip. Like if you like, and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.